In a sunlit kitchen in suburban America, the air feels heavy and cold. Sarah slowly sets her phone on the wooden table, her fingers trembling as her eyes blur with tears. She stares at the cruel messages from her own family, words that sting more than any physical blow. She stays silent, with only her ragged breathing and the steady tick-tock of the wall clock filling the room. Everything looks peaceful, yet Sarah's heart is screaming in pain. Why did the people meant to protect us often become the ones who hurt us the most? The door creaked open softly, and her grandfather walked in. He didn't ask her why she was crying. He didn't ask about the harsh messages still glowing on her phone screen. Instead, he moved quietly to the counter and placed a small wicker basket on the table. "The sun is setting, Sarah," he said, his voice as steady and comforting as an old oak tree. "Come with me to the garden. I need some help picking apples for tonight's dinner." Sarah wiped her eyes with the back of her hand, her voice trembling with exhaustion. "Grandpa, I can't. My heart is breaking. My own family, they're saying such terrible things about me. I feel like my whole world is falling apart. I don't have the strength to care about apples right now." The old man didn't look away, nor did he offer a hollow cliché. He just stood there with a gentle, knowing smile and walked toward the back door. "Just for a few minutes, Sarah. The trees are waiting." Reluctantly, Sarah stood up and followed him out into the orchard. The garden was beautiful, bathed in the golden, honey-like light of the late afternoon. They walked past rows of trees until they stopped in front of the most magnificent one in the far corner. Its branches were heavy, and the apples looked like perfect, shining rubies hanging against the green leaves. "Look at this tree," her grandfather said, pointing to the vibrant fruit. "It is the tallest and most beautiful one I have ever grown. I want you to reach up and pick the biggest, most perfect apple you can find from these branches." Sarah reached out and carefully plucked a stunning apple. It felt heavy and smooth in her palm. She started to place it into the basket, but her grandfather gently caught her wrist. "Wait," he said softly, his eyes turning serious. "I want you to hold it. But Sarah, you must listen to me carefully. No matter how hungry you get, and no matter how delicious it looks, you must never eat a single bite of this apple. In fact, once we go back inside, we are going to throw it in the trash." Sarah stared at him, completely confused. "But Grandpa, why? This is the best tree in your garden. You planted it, you cared for it. Why would you grow something so beautiful just to tell me it's dangerous?" The grandfather took the apple from Sarah's hand and held it up to the fading sunlight. It looked perfect, a deep, vibrant red that seemed to glow. "This tree looks strong, doesn't it?" he asked softly. "Its leaves are the greenest in the orchard, and its fruit is the most beautiful. But deep underground, Sarah, the roots of this tree have reached a hidden stream contaminated with lead. The tree doesn't know it's drinking poison. It's just growing. But because it drinks from a toxic source, it can only produce toxic fruit." Sarah looked at the apple, then back at the house where her phone lay on the table. The silence of the garden felt heavy. "But we planted it," Sarah whispered. "We watered it. It belongs here, in our home." The grandfather nodded slowly, his eyes full of compassion. "That is the hardest part to accept. We often think that because something, or someone, belongs in our life, they must be good for us. We think that love and blood can somehow turn poison into medicine. But Sarah, listen to me carefully. A poisonous apple is still poisonous. even if it grows in your own garden." He paused, letting the words sink in. Sarah felt a lump forming in her throat. For years, she had made excuses for the pain her family caused her, telling herself that because they were family, she had to accept whatever they gave her. "Toxicity does not care about bloodlines," the grandfather continued. "It doesn't care about shared memories or the name you carry. If a person's words and actions are filled with venom, staying close to them won't change their nature. It will only make you sick. You can love the tree from a distance, Sarah. You can appreciate its beauty and remember why it was planted. But you must never eat the fruit. You are not a bad person for choosing to stay healthy. You are not betraying your home by refusing to be poisoned." Sarah looked down at her hands. She realized that by constantly trying to fix the relationship, she had been the one swallowing the lead every single day. Slowly, she felt a sense of clarity she hadn't known in years. The guilt that had been weighing her down began to lift. She realized that her garden was meant to be a place of peace, not a place where she had to live in fear of what was growing there. Just like that, the hold those messages had over her heart began to break. Sarah looked at the beautiful red apple one last time. She felt the weight of years of guilt finally slipping away from her shoulders. Slowly, she opened her hand. The apple fell, landing with a soft thud on the grass, where it would stay. She realized that she could still love the memory of the garden without having to consume the poison it produced. A quiet, steady peace washed over her as she looked at her grandfather, who simply nodded in silent approval. From today's story, we learn a difficult but vital lesson. We are taught from a young age that family is everything, and that we must accept them no matter what. But the truth is, toxicity does not care about your DNA. It does not become less toxic just because it comes from someone you love. Setting a boundary or choosing to distance yourself from a harmful relative is not a betrayal of your bloodline. It is an act of survival. It is the ultimate form of self-love to say, "I love you, but I will no longer let your poison into my soul." You are the gardener of your own life. You decide what stays and what goes. If there is a poisonous apple in your garden right now, please remember, you have the absolute right not to eat it. You are allowed to protect your peace. If this story resonated with you, I invite you to share your own experience in the comments or send this video to a friend who might be struggling with a similar burden. Your story might be the strength someone else needs today. Stay calm, be kind to yourself, and remember that you deserve to grow in healthy soil. In our next lesson, we will talk about how to begin planting a new garden for your soul. Until then, stay peaceful and keep your heart safe.